I appreciate you. Just know that. There seems to be a theme these last couple days with me talking about illness and relating how how we get sick and how we cause disturbances in our energy. So I want to highlight the illness for today and specifically on how our thoughts make us sick. And I believe this wholeheartedly. Uh, I I feel it in my own energy, and maybe you have too. If you notice, you've had days where you are constantly in struggle within the mind. Not even anything's necessarily happening. Maybe one thing happened, but it's the thoughts of the mind that are creating the struggle. And perhaps you, like myself, notice how you feel in that state. Maybe your energy begins to drop. Maybe your digestion becomes more sluggish. Maybe you get headaches. Maybe you feel nausea. Maybe physically your body's sore, your body's tight. Maybe you struggle to breathe. Maybe you struggle to breathe. So if we think of the chakra system, each energy center is associated with parts of our physical body. You think of the heart chakra, that one's pretty obvious. Solar plexus into the stomach, the sacral chakra, I'm kind of jumping around, sacral chakra into the intestines. So if we're taking the sacral chakra, if we are struggling in our relationships, our digestive tract could be struggling. You think like, ugh, like just that tightness in the lower abdomen. Or if it's more emotional struggle within relationships, maybe you're feeling betrayal a lot of times because it comes up into the heart too. Betrayal or feeling like I did something wrong, that can be in the solar plexus and stab us right into our self-esteem. So in all of these come about because we have thoughts. I have been betrayed, or I did something wrong. That is a belief that we have taken on and concluded about an event. We have already made up our mind that this person walked away, I did something wrong, or this person walked away, I've been betrayed. And if we dig down a little bit deeper, we will find that we have experienced similar thoughts before. It's a reoccurrence, or you may even find yourself saying, oh, here it goes, happening again. I always get betrayed. I always get walked away from. I always get left. All of this is on repeat. And I'm laughing. It's not funny because it puts us into incredible turmoil when it's happening. But the interesting part of that is with the repetition, we can go back to the source of when we first felt betrayed, when somebody first walked away. And many of us, that could have happened when we were children, which brings about a difficulty because we don't always have the specific memories, or some of you I know don't have any memories associated. Maybe you were really young before your mind could retain any understanding about what was happening. But there's this aftermath and this energetic embedding that has happened for that trauma that still sticks with you. And so when we don't understand the reality of a situation, we develop a story. When we don't understand the reality of the situation, we develop a story. So if dad left, I don't know why I always pick on the fathers. Um, when the dad left, we don't know all of the ins and outs of the situation, right? And as we get older, a lot of times I notice some of us are blessed to have conversations with the parent or with the friend or whomever it may be after the trauma occurred, that we can actually get to an understanding. We can ask, hey, why did you walk away? Why did you say those things? Why don't you talk to me anymore? And we can hear from the other person's perspective. However, when we don't have that information, the mind gets very creative as to what it is that it thinks it happened, because the mind wants to understand. It wants to feel in balance, and it won't feel in balance until it has information, even if the information is false, but if it comes up with a reason as to why something happened the way that it did. So if we don't know why a parent left us when we were 4, the mind creates a story of, oh, I must have done something wrong. I must have cried too much. I must have done something bad, or or um, or this parent is a horrible person, and they don't know how to handle whatever. I don't know. The story goes on and on. You have your own stories, for what has been created. But another interesting part of it is we believe that. So even though the mind creates the story, we take it into our being, into our bodies as truth. Whether we are conscious that we created the story or not, it makes us sick. It makes us sick. I like to take these pauses to settle into the message and also give us some time to reflect. So that's why I pause. So if you're struggling right now with your physical healing journey, look to the heart. The answer is not going to be in your body. Anything we do to calm the physical body is going to be temporary, because energy exists beyond the physical. So, and we know this. If somebody has a leg amputated, we have phantom sensations within the leg. We can feel the leg, and as a Reiki practitioner, if somebody is missing a limb, we can still feel the energy of that limb there, because it still exists in multiple dimensions, not just the physical. And so the same can be said if a parent leaves, the energy of them leaving still exists. Their presence still exists within us. So look to the heart if you are struggling physically. And none of this is to say don't take your medications or your herbs or exercise. All of that, let all of that feed back into what it is that I'm actually trying to uncover within the heart. Let the heart be the motivator for you feeling better, not just let this physical body feel well. You may have this illness the rest of your life. That may be a part of your destiny, of your journey to have this ailment, because it's here to continually help you dig deeper into who you are. And that can kind of be a bummer for some of us. And I'm not saying that to discourage you, but as time goes on, we can, as we dig into the heart, the burden of having an illness begins to lift. We come into an acceptance of, this is how my body is at this point in this life. And we can accept that and begin to work with the illness to teach us something. So, for example, for myself, my heart has always been, I call my heart my barometer, because when I'm feeling emotionally stressed, my heart starts palpitating. And This started happening after my parents got a divorce in my teenage years. Of course, later I became awakened to that pattern, and instead of or after many years of complaining about my heart palpitations, I now look to my heart to alert me when I am emotionally stressed, when I'm worrying about a relationship, feeling like I did something wrong a lot of the times, feeling like I'm not doing good enough. My heart will palpitate. And so it's my alert system to tell me where I'm not loving myself fully, where I'm holding on to this old belief that I'm not good enough, that I'm not worth spending time with, or that my presence isn't wanted. So all of that gets stored into specific parts of our body. And so instead of judging, this comes from the thoughts of the mind, instead of judging our body and saying, you're doing something wrong, body, you need to stop hurting, we can ask the body, what is it that you are pointing me to? What are you pointing me to? Where do I not yet understand or see the reality of a situation that I have created a story about? Help me see the reality. Do I need compassion for myself in a way I responded to a situation that, maybe if the situation would have reoccurred in this moment, I would respond differently? Or do I need to develop compassion for somebody else and the choices that somebody else made? Because anger anger's it sticks in us. It is I had told somebody before, it's like carrying like sharp heavy rocks in our body. Anger is so detrimental to our our healing. It creates arthritis in our bodies. It creates tension. You think, like, if you're angry, what do you do? Like, we clench our teeth. That's happening all of the time underneath the surface. If you have anger within you, you are continuously clenching your body. So let that story go. Let that story go. And even if you're in the unknown and you aren't able to gather facts about a situation, can you assume? I had posted about this on my personal page the other day. We're all doing our best except for them. They aren't doing their best. Or we're all doing our best except for me. I'm not doing good enough. I could be doing better. If we truly believe that all human beings do their best with the information and the understanding they have, that is all we need to know to forgive ourselves and others. So begin to shift this negative story in your mind that something is wrong and start to see what is right about this situation. And if we could pull out of our lives and look at all the intricacies of how the timeline played out, we'll see the blessing of what has occurred, because we're here right now. I went to Unity Church, beautiful service led by Natalie Vorst yesterday, and we were talking about maybes and being open to how situations unfold, because we don't necessarily know what we are being saved from. Let's say in my instance, if my parents never got a divorce, what if my parents became so angry at each other that it turned to physical abuse, or more anger was poured onto the kids, me and my siblings. We don't know what we have been saved from. So perhaps in divine orchestration, the blow had been softened for us with how everything came about. We've been talking too about imagining the best case scenario as opposed to the worst case scenario, and what we've been talking about is more in the future of why are we assuming these bad things are going to happen? What if we assume that the greatest things are going to happen? Well, let's take that thought and bring it back into the past. What if what happened to us was the best thing that could happen to us? Not only did it relieve us from additional pain that could have been caused from that situation, but it helped us grow and understand parts of ourselves that we would not be able to understand otherwise. And I think we have this false idea that life is going to someday be perfect, that we are going to feel perfect in our bodies and perfect in our minds. That I think that's why we cling to this idea. There's our word for the month, cling. We cling to this idea of enlightenment. But what does that mean? Is enlightenment free from our burdens, or is it a realization that we aren't burdened at all? The peace that we're searching for is already within us. And the more we chase this idea of enlightenment, this idea of perfection, the more buried we become in our own story. So release that idea that someday I'm going to be free from this and be present with what's here. Acknowledge the blessing of the survival of where you are here, and listen to what the heart has to say to help you put these burdens down and experience all of who you are in this perfect moment. Can you pause right now and connect with the reality of this moment, that I am here with this body as it is, and it made it here. And this mind, no matter how busy it is, this mind is here, and it's trying its best to understand. And this incredible heart that feels so much. All this energy poured in, congregated into this speck, this being of who you are right now. And if you can feel what I'm feeling right now, that in itself is an incredible miracle. How all this energy just came about and made this form and made these situations and all the sensations. It's here, it's existing. We exist in this moment, and that is so incredible. Never mind the story, but be right here. And can you feel the reality of who you are and where you are and what you are right now? I appreciate you all. I love you all, and thank you for walking with me, for reaching out. I receive so many words of encouragement from you all, and you're letting me know how you're doing, and I appreciate, because even though many of us are physically not in the same space, we still get to connect in this wonderful way, and I'm grateful for that in itself. So thank you for walking with me.